for both as they each enter tough stretches in their non-conference schedule before conference play ramps up. Alabama coming off of an 87-78 loss to Purdue on Friday night. Grant Nelson gets a paint touch and lobs it outside. Libera Philon gets into the paint and with the left can't finish. And it's pulled down by the Illini. 3-0 on the season. They went 14-6 in conference play last year, coming off of a slugfest against Oakland, 166-54 Wednesday night. Denham Rickhouse is one of the great stories in college basketball from Evansville before that NAIA. You mentioned Yakachonis, and he gets him off a quick start with the three.
Tom, he's all of 6'5" at that point guard spot, maybe even 6'6", so he can take and make guarded threes. A tough one goes down early for the Illini.
Latrell Wrightsell Jr., great three-point threat. Trying to penetrate. And the dump off Clifford Omori, who played against Illinois twice last season with Rutgers. Nelson for three, and we're locked up early.
So it's all about the paint touches for Alabama. Alabama got to their third paint touch in that possession. They skip it to the far side. Grant Nelson at 6'11". Not a dominant three-point shooter, but good enough you have to honest guard.
This is fourth make of the season from behind the arc. Yakachonis, 10th in the country in assists, picks up another as he dishes it off for the Ivisic dunk.
Yeah, Alabama goes drop coverage on that first middle ball screen. And they don't drop quick enough to get back in front of Tomislav Ivisic.
His twin brother, Big Z, played at Kentucky last year, now with John Calipari at Arkansas. Nelson sizes up another. Splash, he's got 2 threes early. Grant Nelson got stuck at the 5 spot a good chunk of last season. He's much more comfortable on the perimeter.
Well, he may have to get unstuck some this year because offensively, Alabama is at their best when Grant Nelson is playing that 5 position.
Finish from Kylan Boswell Jr. from Champaign. Played a couple different high school spots. Nelson again. 3 for 3.
He has seen a really big rim in Birmingham early. And all 3 looks for Grant Nelson. Not an orange jersey in the airspace. Too easy.
Nice fake and finish. Yakachonis, the freshman from Vilnius, Lithuania, played for FC Barcelona. Another triple goes.
Alabama came into this ball game only making, I say only, 8 threes per game. They're typically around 10 or 11. You know they're going to take 28 or 30 attempts per night.
Shootout early on. We'll stay with the Illini.
Alabama, we know, Tom, they are at their best in the run game. And they force you to have a higher pickup point in your transition defense than normal. A concern early, I'm sure, for Brad Underwood.
We are 3 minutes in. We've already seen a combined 5 threes go down. Yakachonis gets downhill. Loose ball belongs to the Illini, and chip to the free throw line coming from Trey White.
Like most games, the game begins tonight when the ball's on the glass. There's going to be a lot of long loose ball rebounds because of the number of threes that have been taken. And if you don't want to rebound in this game, like all games, you don't want to win. And Trey White just comes in, and that's a loose ball, 50-50 ball rebound that 22 comes up with. A huge part of this game is who secures those.
A couple of different stops on Trey White's college career. Southern California to start, and then Louisville. It's a 12.6 board game a guy last year for the Cardinals.
Yeah, good player on a bad team, but he's a jack-of-all-trades guy. It's a fresh start for Trey White. Very versatile game that Brad Underwood is in love with. The energy and the fight that he has brought to the Illini early.
A couple of subs in for Illinois. Will Riley, the talented freshman, and Kerry Booth, both off the bench. Nelson again. Omori had his hands on it, and it was ripped away. It will belong to Illinois. Kylan Boswell doing the dirty work.
Great job by Boswell to come in with 2 hands and not be a slapper at the ball. Because Omori has that offensive rebound, and Kylan Boswell just comes in with 2 and rakes it away. Really well done, and to do it without fouling.
How do you view what this game's going to mean come March, come Selection Sunday?
Yeah, it's going to be a big-time win for whoever walks out of here with it. But both these clubs are going to be in that NCAA tournament unless just things fall completely apart on them. They're built with depth. They are talented. They have coaching experience. They are hungry to get to the Final Four. Both of them talk about it. And for the third week of the college basketball regular season, this one means a lot.
Neither one of these programs has won a national title. Well, Illinois has had plenty of cracks at it. Elite Eight run last year. They both lost to UConn. Philon pushes it up immediately for Alabama and got a bump into Nelson.
That is good action by Alabama quickly with that jet speed of Philon, thrown it to the step up of Nelson on that empty side of the floor.
Mentioned deep runs without getting there. Illinois is tied for the third most tournament appearances without a title, 34 times. And Alabama coming up its first ever Final Four. LeBaron Philon with the finish.
He is not afraid. He was an absolute star in the loss at Purdue. Fearless. Attacking the rim is zero in white, the true freshman.
Dekachonis couldn't thread the needle, turns it over. Aiden Holloway on the floor. Auburn transfer. Here he is for three. Takes it in.
Yeah, he missed it so bad it went in, but that's okay. He's only made one out of his last 9. He gets one to go in an unconventional way. It might get him going.
Three answers not there for Illinois. Nelson ended up on the floor, and we get a push off of Morez Johnson Jr. Bama's got a 6-point lead. The scouting report on Aiden Holloway's his first three is always long.
Well, the scouting report is accurate. This one's about 3 feet long. Window, net. Well done, 2. I'll take it.
Sizzling start for the Crimson Tide. They've made 6 buckets so far. 5 of them have come from behind the arc.
Well, think about this. Alabama has 5 paint touches in this game. They've made 5 threes. That's the importance of guarding the ball when you take on Alabama.
They are 12th in the country, getting 64% of their points from 2. Not exactly what they wanted. Paul, thank you. We welcome those of you who watched Mary Wise's Gators knock off Auburn. And so we move on to this Big Ten versus SEC showdown. Tom Hart alongside Jimmy Dykes. Bama and Illinois, 2 ranked teams. The only top 25 game in men's college basketball tonight. And if you are just joining us, you've missed Alabama get off to a 5-for-6 start from behind the arc.
Tom, it's a high-profile game that's going to carry a lot of weight through the remainder of the season. Both these clubs will be in the NCAA tournament. Illinois steps up in a weight class tonight for the first time after bye games at home. Alabama was stung by Purdue. How will they respond in this building? So far, Grant Nelson says we're going to respond in the right way. What a weapon.
Nelson 4 of 5 from the floor. That includes 3 for 4 from deep. Here's the freshman Riley. He is some kind of talented. And he draws a foul on his way in. And it's easy to see if you watch Will Riley, who's coming off the bench and giving them 18 and 6, that this is an Illinois team that over the course of the season, as he matures, is going to be more and more dangerous.
Well, he was a top 10 consensus prospect in the 2025 class before he reclassified. One of the top players in Canada. A thin kid, but is a natural scorer. I think Alabama will test this guy, though, on the defensive end of the floor, see if he can hold up in a physical game. Offensively, he's fine. Defensively, he's going to have to answer the bell tonight.
He was recruited by, among others, Alabama, alongside Kentucky, Arkansas, and Arizona. And he had 31, which is a program record for his freshman debut against Eastern Illinois, but 0 for 2 from the line. Nice back cut. Holloway shares it. Back out to Nelson. Halfway down, didn't go.
And that was big-time offense, though, by Alabama. 2 paint touches and 2 hard cuts off the ball for a wide-open look.
Dekachonis taking care of it himself. He's got 7 of the Illini's early 13.
Tom, he is really good. Played for the powerhouse FC Barcelona last year on their second team primarily. A ton of international experience.
Whew. Nelson slides right down the lane. You want international experience or you want a product out of North Dakota State?
Well, Grant Nelson has made some threes, but his core, he is a head rammer guy around the rim. He wants to be a two-point, punk you at the glass guy. Very well done by Nelson in the middle third.
Riley tracks down the long rebound. Another offensive board off a deep shot for Illinois. Harassing defense out front. Nice slip. And the flush from Morez Johnson Jr. First bucket for the freshman.
Where's the team in orange doing damage? The middle third of the floor in that ball screen offense that's new to Illinois this year because of the personnel that Brad Underwood brought into Champaign.
Nelson from the corner. Misses last couple. Speaking of the reignition of this Illinois offense, Brad Underwood spent a good chunk of the offseason watching teams like Oklahoma City and Boston and getting a little bit more NBA flavor in their attack. And Rickhouse from right in front. Rickhouse, excuse me.
Tom, almost gets you beat. Alabama almost boxed off. They almost won the defensive glass, but almost also gets you to the NIT. And in a game like this, those almost plays, I almost boxed off. I almost came up with a loose ball. I almost talked loud on defense. It will get you beat in a game like this.
Alabama with an early 4-point lead. Both teams shooting over 60% from the floor. Aiden Sherrill is into the game for the first time for Bama. Here's a corner three again. This one belongs to Aiden Holloway. It was 2 for 2 from deep.
He did not shoot the ball well from the three-point part in SEC play last year, but he has a very good, smooth, repeatable stroke.
He was on the SEC freshman team playing for Bruce Pearl. Tomislav Ivisic off the mark. Rebounded by Sherrill.
Bama not afraid to come off of Ivisic to start this game. Wait till he makes a three or the second one to react defensively.
Sherrill throws up a three. Ripped down by Trey White, junior out of Dallas. White turns the corner and goes right into Sherrill, who gets whistled for his first.
It was a good read, though, was it not, by Trey White, because he saw Sherrill rotated over with his arms up but his arms out, and that's an easy play for an experienced guard to go right through those arms and initiate the contact.
So White to the free throw line. It's on a prolific prep team that played in the Geico National Tournament, went 26-6. And one more coming his way. Friday after Thanksgiving, a basketball doubleheader. How about number 9 Kentucky get Georgia State? Cats had a nice win and performance from Jackson Robinson last night. And meanwhile, Delaware State is in Austin, take on Texas. That's next Friday, Thanksgiving Friday.
Tom, Kentucky's ranked, what, 8th or 9th? I think they're one of the top 4 or 5 teams in all of college ball. I mean, their pieces fit. I think that's the most important thing that Mark Pope was able to pull off in that first recruiting class.
Jackson Robinson went for 20-7 in the comfortable win against Lipscomb last night at Rupp. Stevenson inside.
I like that by Stevenson because he has not made a three-point shot yet this year. So instead of forcing a guarded three, man, he puts that ball and drives it with force.
Last time out against Purdue, here's Rickhouse, and he's off the mark. Last time out against Purdue, 19 of Alabama's 21 from 2 came in the paint. Nice block. Back out to Holloway. Ball fake and a kick. Another corner three.
Tom, how about the effort by Rickhouse to miss a three, but not get his dauber down, feel sorry for himself, and sprint to deflect what would have been an open three from the corner.
That guy's all effort, especially if you consider his background. Ivisic off the mark. White get cut off, and his shot's blocked. LeBaron Filon with the left hand. Terrell Wrightsell Jr. And a drive and a finish by Filon, the freshman from Mobile, Alabama's got 4.
He is impressive. Filon played football all the way through his 9th grade year, was a wide receiver, cornerback. Told me today he wanted to play football at Ohio State until he went all basketball. Man, he's so tough in the two-point part of the floor for a freshman.
Number 3 point guard in his recruiting class. Loose ball, shot clock didn't reset. 9 on the clock for Illinois. Boswell now with 5. Pull-up 3. Phylon with the rebound. He's off to a great start with Colin Sexton. Those points and assists for a freshman, and give him an assist on the Stevenson run out.
I say yes because, again, Stevenson not shooting the ball well yet so far, but now impacting the game in other ways. Just wins the rim sprint from one end to the other.
6-0 Bama run, double-digit lead for the Tide here in Birmingham. Bad entry, past the reach of Ivicic. We're about an hour away from Bama's campus, but the Roll Tide fans have made their way into Birmingham and a lot to cheer about early.
All gas, no brakes is what we expect from Alabama basketball. So far, that pedals down. To the next. Last year, Tom, as you know, this Illinois team, they played booty ball with Marcus Damas, and then the transition play of Terrence Shannon Jr., who shot 5,000 free throws last year, got them to the Elite Eight. But because of the international influx of talent for these guys in orange, heavy in the ball screen offense, when you watch Illinois for the rest of the game tonight, how well they are doing will be predicated by this. How quickly can they get 2 Alabama defenders on the ball out of ball screen action? If it's happening quickly, good things will happen for the Illini.
Shannon gave him 23 points a game last year. That was a single-season school record, first round of the T-Wolves. And with him, Damas gone, they get 3% of the minutes, 2% of the points and rebounds returning, and 10 brand-new players, which makes it easy to see that this being the first test for Illinois, and that they'll be a team that continues to rise throughout. Ivicic rejects that pass from Nelson. Both teams tough schedules in the very near future. Boswell off the mark. And here comes Mark Sears. Sears has been less than aggressive on the offensive side. Foul on that shot.
Now he is the real deal. First of all, appreciate the effort to keep the ball alive and to tap it on the defensive glass. Then get out and win that drive through the elbow in the half court.
It's an 8-0 Alabama run. Here's the freshman Riley. Goes 6'8", 195. Took a shot on that one, no whistle. Shot clock at 3. Gibbs Longhorn couldn't knock it down. Freshman got the rebound, gets another one. He's got great reach. And he's just running into 3 straight brick walls in that possession. Sears has not put up a shot yet. Second in the league in scoring behind Dalton Knecht last year. What's that guy up to, Knecht? Nelson banks it in.
Dalton Knecht caused a whole lot of NBA GM meetings this morning, is what he's up to. And
why did we pass on that guy?
I love the play of Grant Nelson so far in this game. Again, the description for him is he's a head rammer. He has grown to where he wants and he seeks the contact plays. Wasn't like that early at Alabama. He wanted to float around the perimeter, but man, he has really grown his game and his toughness on this end.
Listen, Brad Underwood, he's a tough-minded guy. Yeah. So if you can impress him with your toughness, you've accomplished something. His eyes just lit up when he started talking about Nelson.
And he said the guy that we fear the most tomorrow night is Grant Nelson because of how he fights, his elbows, his activity. He's a wiry, strong, tough, hard to guard, to handle. 4 and white.
Drought for Illinois. Continues. Riley, no. Rebounded by Amore. Sears' first shot attempt is off the back of the rim. Came 11 minutes into the half. Amore.
If you give up offensive rebounds to Alabama, you're in for a long night. A long night, because all they're going to do, Tom, at that point is reload quickly. Reload to a 3 or reload to a paint touch drive or a pass. And this long rebound, again, these are loose balls that Alabama has won so far in this game. Amore just lives around the rim. He's out of the dunker spot, shot blocker, rim running guy. The Alabama offense is clicking at a high clip so far in Birmingham tonight.
A rare non-dunk from Amore. 14 of his 16 field goals have been dunks leading up to that one. Meanwhile, Illinois in a scoring drought nearing 4 minutes. Amore played against the Illini twice last year with Rutgers. He went for 22 and 9 in their first matchup. And in the second matchup, How's this for filling the stat sheet? 7 points, 9 boards, 8 blocks in round 2.
Well, he is a beautiful young man, Clifford Amore. And he took part of his NIL money, Tom, and donated to the Salvation Army to organize shoes for his home country of Nigeria. He's already got his degree, 2-time Big Ten all defensive team, engineering degree. Just one of those kind of guys that you want to go to war with every night. At least I would.
It's a highly rated recruit coming out of Roselle Catholic in Jersey, 4-star, New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year. Nice little hesitation move by Yakachonis.
Really well done, was it not, against the drop coverage by Yakachonis? Just continued to go right at the drop defender and got the high one off the glass for 2.
Here's Latrell Wrightsell Jr. And now Sears. Nelson with the ball fake. Finds Amore, gets a block from behind by White. Talking with Grant Nelson after practice today, and he said, man, I'm just so happy to be at the 4 spot. And there's a foul. Send Yakachonis to the line for 3.
I talked about Yakachonis, the high IQ that this kid plays with, a ton of international experience. But as he comes off this ball screen, that's drop coverage by Amore. And he doesn't get sped up. He plays to his pace. Does a really good job with a high release and gets it above the square. Wow. Tom, let's take a look at what's going on in the Big Ten early this season. Some really magnificent wins. Purdue over Alabama and Wisconsin hung 100 on Arizona. Some impact new guys in that league. Bailey and Harper at Rutgers, phenomenal freshman. Tanjay went for 41 in that win. The 2 guys in Indiana, Ballo and Miles as well. But this is a league that's projecting 9 or 10 in that NCAA tournament. That's been a while since they've won a national title, but I just still feel like the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big 12 are going to be in that 8, 9, 10 range when it comes to number of teams they put in March Madness.
It's a 20-game Big Ten schedule. They jumped right into it December 6th with a trip to Evanston to take on Northwestern. Yakachonis at the free throw line. Yakachonis is averaging nearly 8 assists a game. That's 10th best in the country. The Big Ten record is 8.4 assists per game. Any guesses who holds the Big Ten record for assists per game?
How long do I have?
Until this free throw. It's going to be obvious once you hear it. It was set in the 1978-79 record by a kid from Michigan State named Irvin Johnson.
Pretty good player.
Not bad. And all Yakachonis did was come out with 13 assists against SIU Edwardsville. Here's Sears again. And Aiden Holloway tracks it down.
This one deserves to go in. You can't give up 3 offensive rebounds if you're Illinois and think the next one's not going to drop. Very, very fortunate.
Bama started the game 4 for 4 from deep. Tied just 1 for its last 11. Nelson with the denial inside.
Tom, you've got to win the foot race to the ball on those missed threes by Alabama. You can't stand and watch with a traditional box on. It is a foot race.
Well, those long rebounds, just one of the reasons as Reed goes to his left for his first bucket. When you see the analytic reports about the three-point shooting being worth 1.3, 1.4 points per possession, it's not that the ball always goes in, but it's you're going to have a favorable end of the possession, in large part because on misses, you have a better chance to get offensive rebounds.
No doubt.
Sears commits his first.
Riley has not been guarded by a grown man like he just got guarded by Mark Sears. Sears finally gets called for the foul, but Sears just refusing to be screened up top. And that's what tough competitive guys do. Non-competitors just shrink on screens. Look at Sears, fight, fight, fight. Finally gets called for the lower body hip check, but really a physical defensive play by Sears.
Riley was is the highest rated Illinois recruit in the internet era, to find out how you will, going back to the headband of Dee Brown in 2002. Sidestep and drilled the 3. Will Riley, 6'8" freshman.
You've got to have that sidestep 3 ball these days if you're going to rise up to the next level, and really well done by Riley to do it.
Byline into the corner. A share and high percentage look.
Again, it's all about the paint touch for Alabama. And 1 through 5, they can drive it. Sherrill not quite as good as the rest of them, but Stevenson at 6'10". A long, fast, explosive first step to the paint.
Kaspers Yakachonis trying to shake Reed. And then he gives it up to Sherrill. Here's Reed. Tried to step through. And then forgot to bring the basketball with him. It'll be Alabama basketball with 20 on the shot clock. Perez Johnson Jr. re-enters. This Alabama staff really loves 35 in white. Darion Reed, 4th highest rated recruit in program history behind Colin Sexton, Brandon Miller, and J.D. Davison. And he's just barely scratching the surface of what he can do. In and out.
Yeah, he has always been a physical, driving, slashing wing. Developing a three-point shot. It looked good coming off of his wrist. Nothing wrong with the stroke at all.
Gibbs Lawhorn, the only active returning player for Illinois, is able to draw the foul on LeBert Fallon.
Tom, as aggressive as Alabama is with their on-ball pressure, you've got to have guys that will find a gap and attack it with courage and force if you're Illinois.
Legal screen up top on Perez Johnson Jr., his second. Illinois got up to a decent start shooting, but Nate Oates' team has clamped down on them. 38% in the first half. Meanwhile, Bama looks like Bama again after Purdue put the clamps on them on Friday night. Here's Holloway. Through some contact, dumps it inside. Sherrill had his hands on it. And here comes Illinois the other way. Illini don't have a single fast break bucket yet. Rejected. White tried to step through and gets whistled for a walk.
And tremendous one-on-one defense by Sherrill to move his feet. Now, Tom, Alabama has been mismatched some in their conversion defense, but a bad match is better than no match. And 22 goes out and takes on a wing, and he's all of 6'11", but he does a good job this time of keeping his arms straight up and back as opposed to get out in front of his body.
That was a heck of a response to the whistle. He thought it should have been an and one. Instead, it was going the other way. Holloway fouled from behind and backed it in.
Maybe that's who he is. Maybe from straight ahead, he's a banking guy. I don't know, because it's worked twice for him. That high flat ball screen, and Illinois just sags off of it. That drop to coverage is way deep, so now it becomes a 2-on-1 game. And Yakachonis just loses his defensive discipline from behind and runs smooth through Holloway. A chance for a 4-point play.
Aiden Holloway got his Auburn career off to an incredible start against Baylor last year. Had 19 points on 4 of 8 3 as a true freshman coming out of prolific prep. But to your point, shooting struggles really ramped up in conference play. Only 25% from deep in SEC games. Largest lead of the game so far for Alabama. They're on another run. It's grown to 18.
Now, Brad Underwood knows what he's up against in the SEC. I mean, they had an exhibition game against Ole Miss, and Ole Miss put it on them pretty good, like 91-74. They still have to play Arkansas. Tennessee's on the docket out of the SEC as well. So,
and they've got Missouri and St. Louis.
Yeah, if you're going to get tested, get tested.
All that before New Year's. In and out. Yakachonis got a team high 11 for Illinois. Spin around Fenway. Illinois offensively came in, scored 89 points a game on 45% shooting. They have not had a good first half after a decent start. Phylon got some space. And now Colin Boswell.
One of the few possessions that Alabama did not get a piece of the paint.
Visich made his last three, off the mark with that one.
Yeah, but there's no reason, Tom, to overreact to his last made three. Like 25% so far.
Corner three skips off. Whole team's stuck in the mud right now. You say no need to overreact. You don't have to sprint out to.
No, yeah, not at all. Because he's more of a threat, 13 in orange, at ball screen, diving, making a play at the rim, off of one bounce, being a facilitator. Alabama's dropping completely off of him right now with a more.
Brought a lot of attention over to him. And he's able to draw the foul. And Tomislav Ivisic from Croatia will go to the free throw line. For 3 seasons in the Adriatic League. Now Ivisic getting set for the Big Ten.
Get that ball up and get their first shot up within the first 11 or 12 seconds. I'm not sure what their exact number is this year, but they are a hyper-aggressive team.
Well, they are still, despite the fact that the three-point shooting isn't there yet, they're still 3rd in the country in efficiency. And a big part of that came off their first game against Asheville. They got to the rim with ease and put 110 on the board and didn't have to be balanced in that game.
Tom, they got good looks at Purdue. And then, now, Purdue played outstanding. And Purdue got knocked around a little bit last night by Marquette. And Cam Jones, one of the most complete games I've seen for a guard in a long time. But Alabama, they know who they are. And that's such a big deal on both ends of the floor.
So here's Tomislav Ivisic. He's got another one coming. He was playing in Croatia in the Adriatic League and with the Croatian national team. In fact, his Adriatic League team played a contest against Southern Cal in August of 23. Had a double-double in that one. He went for 23 in and out. And the twin brother of Zvonimir, first of Kentucky, now of Arkansas, goes 0 for 2 from the line. Sears had it knocked away, but nearly walked with it, saved it right back to Illinois and Colin Boswell.
Now that's what Boswell's job description is early for Illinois, to set the tone defensively as an on-ball defender. That's a heck of a battle between 4 in orange and 1 in white. You've got a physical defender and offensive player going nose to nose.
Haven't seen much of number 10 Diabate on the floor for Alabama. Here he is. Nelson from the corner.
Good spot, is it not? That right corner has been good to Grant Nelson. Man, Alabama, they got the dribble handoff, fakes, the zoom action. They wrap those screens hard with speed. What I call NASCAR cuts. When they cut with speed. Talking about Alabama.
Ivisic, little jump hook. He's got 7. You talk about the details being important to Alabama. Talking with this Alabama staff about the Purdue game. Those corner threes weren't set up as corner threes. The shooters are 3 feet off the line as Diabate throws one in. Everything's coming up Bama now. It's half 100 in the first half. But that spacing being off by just another stride. One of the reasons Purdue was able to lock down Alabama on Friday night.
You know what else jumped out to me about that Purdue game? Behind Paul Gallen Fieldhouse, Mackey Arena, probably the 2nd most difficult place to play right now in college basketball.
Oh, they were rocking.
Well, their football team stinks, so they had a lot of cheering built up inside of them. Man, Mackey Arena, that's a whole nother level now.
Diabate misses from the corner. And it's good. Ben Hummercast has 5.
A guy that started his first 3 years at NAIA Huntington University, then to Evansville, and now he finds himself on the big stage for Illinois in the Big Ten. A beautiful story from 3 in orange, making that last 3.
Hummercast was recruited by 3 schools coming out of Tipton, Indiana. All 3 NAIA. He said, I did have a 3-hour offer to Incarnate Word. By the time I called him back, they'd already given the scholarship to the other guy.
Well, we talked to him about his days at Huntington University, and it was just like high school. He said, man, we would load the van up or the bus on the day of game, drive 4 hours, play the game, drive through McDonald's, and get back home. But he always had the goal of Division I basketball. Now, he needs 15 or 20 games at this level to really find out about contact and how to maximize who he is, but he's all of 6'9". He's a tall, is how Brad Underwood describes his guys. He's a tall that can shoot it. And he actually set the Illinois record. He ran a 4:19 mile in preseason conditioning, which broke the record by, I believe, Trent Frazier at 4:20. So you say super competitive kid with just a beautiful heart and story, right?
Yeah, I asked him the biggest difference. You know, we talked about the travel with NAIA and now what he's doing with Illinois, and he just kind of laughed. They're staying at a pretty nice hotel down the road, and he said, I was just walking around our hotel thinking, this would have broken Huntington's budget. One night in this hotel would have been all of our travel budget for the entire year.
Oh, I know that hotel.
Scholar athlete in the Valley last year with Evansville and highly sought after in the portal.
Well, it feels like a big trip for Illinois just to get some momentum, right, to carry into half.
Jonas has had a good first half. He's been the only aggressive offensive player. Shot clock at 9. Behind Ivisic. Jonas whips it to the tapes. Clock's at 1. And Bama will have 1.4.
Man, the lockdown ability of Alabama on the ball has been impressive in this half. And it's been multiple guys that Nate Oates has rotated on to those primary handlers, just choking off the water, the spark plug for the Illini so far.
What do you like with 1.4?
I like Grant Nelson getting a touch and letting it fly. He's 6'10", so he's a big target. It looks like Holloway is going to be clean right now to get one bounce of the ball. 2 and wide if they don't extend their defense.
And Illinois switched their bigs, or talls that is. Ivisic at 7'1" out, 6'9" Johnson in.
Throw it.
Holloway stolen away. Jonas. He said Illinois was looking for something positive, looking for some momentum. Jonas nearly gave it to him.
I'm not sure what Latrell Wrightsell saw or was thinking. That's the only thing you can't do is throw a lazy pass and allow it to get picked off. And what a first 20 minutes for Roll Tide, huh?
52-point first half for Alabama. When we return, Alyssa Lang will take you through SEC championship game scenarios for every team that can make it. Yeah, it's confusing. It's after this. Well, Alabama got off to a quick start offensively, and they were in the first. Well, all Alabama the first half. Crimson Tide, 8th-ranked team in the country with a 52-point first half. Welcome courtside. Tom Hart alongside Jimmy Dykes. I wasn't exactly sure what happened in the first half, so I asked Jimmy to draw up a play for me.
Well, a couple of things. Alabama, Tom, first of all, the speed they play with at all 5 positions has really hurt Illinois. And how they spread you out offensively. You look right here for Alabama. Grant Nelson's going to be the shooter in the play that I'm going to show you. But it's the off guys that are running to the rim when the shot's taken. And it's what you're dealing with the entire time when you play Alabama. As you look at this play, Grant Nelson, number 4, is going to take the shot. But watch the 2 guys up top. On the release of the ball, it's a sprint. It's a foot feed sprint to the ball. Nelson makes the shot, but that play shows you what you're dealing with. Alabama spreads you out. They put a dunker guy at the dunker spot with Amori, and when the shot's taken, it is a foot race to the ball, and Illinois has got to continue to try to win more than they lose in those areas.
What's different tonight for Alabama versus what they got on Friday from Purdue?
Yeah, the shots are going in, first of all. Again, they didn't take a lot of bad shots against Purdue. They missed what they think are 10 or 11 that they will normally make. But they're shooting the ball at a high clip, but it's the movement and the paint touches that always concern you with when you're playing Alabama.
And to your point on the paint touches, of the 8 threes made by Alabama, 7 of them have come on a paint assist.
That's it. They love charting everything about college basketball analytically. And they understand the value of paint touch threes as opposed to no paint touch 3 attempts.
Up and down first half for Illinois, just 41% shooting. Only 29% from deep. They were really slowed down by Oakland's tempo and the zone last time out. Ivisic is able to draw the foul from Clifford Amori, which is already the 3rd on Amori.
You know, you mentioned Oakland, although Illinois won that game. Oakland did a lot of damage off the bounce in that game. And The Illini have to tighten up that part of their defense in this second half. You've got to stay in front of Alabama.
Well, Illinois had allowed less than 60 in back-to-back games, and then they come out and get torched for 52 in the first half tonight. Sears off of his leg. I thought it was. It's going to be Alabama basketball still. Nelson got hot from deep early. 19 of the first half. Here's Latrell Wrightson Jr. And Colin Boswell will push for Illinois. Ivisic offers the screen. Boswell high off the glass.
Physical, tough, strong, low with the ball. Right through the elbow. Good things happen when you win that part of the floor.
It's a quicker version of Colin Boswell. Lost only 2 pounds after coming back home. Transferring back to his home city from Arizona.
Yeah, he led Arizona last year, right, in assists and steals. But when you win the elbow, Tom, either in transition or in half court, man, good things happen for you. And that time he got Sears on his hip and just kept advancing that ball at the rim.
That was whistled on Trey White. Sears off the back of the rim. Sears 0 for 4. He's got 19 straight games with 15 points or more, but he is scoreless so far tonight.
We do know this about Alabama. They will continue to shoot the ball quickly. If they go on a drought, you can work your way back into the game.
Pocket pick.
Such a competitive kid. He takes coaching. I mean, Nate Oates was right in his grill today, and he looked him eye to eye and said, yes, sir, and went right back to work.
Jonas kicks it out.
That was sweet. Yeah, that was sweet, was it not? The stop, the pivot, the halfway behind the back pass, right on target.
Ivisic has knocked down a couple of threes this evening. Cylon, the chicken wing, gets some space. Goes home for Wrightson.
Now that sounds good. Chicken wing, it looks good by Wrightson to win that sprint to the corner and get his feet set before the ball got to him.
Boswell out to Ivisic. Contested three. And the 7-foot center kicks it back out after the make. Boswell jump stop with the left, and he spins it home.
And again, just a driver with force. And Grant Nelson was trying to be a slapper at the ball instead of attacking in that gap with 2 hands. Watch the drive and the slap by Nelson, which is not effective right here. That's not going to stop a forceful driver. A really good job to take the hit and get the ball to the left side by Boswell. Illinois right back in this game.
This is really interesting now. That's the 4th on Clifford Amore. And we'll see what Alabama does at the 5 spot as Boswell cashes in on the 3-point play. It's an 11-point Bama lead. Phylon. Nelson who finishes it up.
How about the patience of Phylon to wait for Grant Nelson to get in that short roll right in front of the rim position. And does he understand his pace for a freshman guard off the rim.
Challenges Boswell and comes up with the dunk. Numbers for the Tide. Phylon steps around and draws a foul on Jonas.
And Phylon's got a lot of game. Zero in White at one point was an Auburn commit, then he was a Kansas commit, and he ends up at Alabama. But he's got a lot of stuff about him. He's all of 6'4", wired to score. Tom, the 3-point shot is developing, but from the 3-point line and down, he might be as good as we have in this year's freshman class in that point guard spot.
Well, through the first 4 games of his Bama career, he's on pace with Colin Sexton in 2017. In terms of points and assists, the first 4 games as a freshman. Whereas Johnson Jr. re-enters. Ivisic takes a seat. Phylon, you mentioned the Auburn commit, Kansas flirtation. He grew up a Bama fan. It just took him a while to come full circle.
He told me he woke up one morning, his gut told him Alabama's going to be the best place for you. Pretty good fit so far.
Nelson commits the foul. It's his first. And this is what happens with Amore out due to foul trouble. Grant Nelson gets moved to the 5. He told me today, he said, my frustration was playing with the 5 is playing against these bigger guys, and that's where my foul trouble comes in.
Well, if you're Illinois right now, you know that, and you go right at that middle ball screen action and make Grant Nelson respond to it. And really well done by Brad Underwood to keep his guys in this game. He's got Amore in foul trouble. They've got to jackhammer that ball on the inside right now. Take advantage physically around the rim.
Rez Johnson Jr. played at Thornton Township. He's from Riverdale, Illinois. Played for Tie Streaks. Made 2 sports standout at Michigan back in his playing days. Darren Stevenson. Nelson trying to get this Alabama offense unstuck. So right cell. Stevenson for 3. Sky rebound by Boswell. Humberhouse wants it in the corner. Instead, dunked down to the post.
They did everything to finish there. That early ball screen, hard to handle.
Sears finds a loose ball. Thylon back to Reitzel. And a bump on the baseline. So it's Latrell Reitzel Jr. into the Photogs.
Alabama's good at getting the defense chasing instead of defending, and there is a difference. I've talked about their overall team speed and how hard they cut, how fast they move themselves from the ball. And it gets the defense playing behind more times than not.
Humberhouse takes a break. Uvicic is going to come back in. So we had Zvonimir, Big Z in Kentucky last year, and now Tomislav. I guess he can go by Big T for Illinois. Sears pass to Uvicic.
I know they had to have a big family car back in the homeland, right? That back seat had to be special. Had 14 feet of kids in the back seat.
Uvicic's family from Vodice, Croatia. Missile goals against Alabama. We were there when Big Z first showed up.
Yeah.
Not just in Kentucky, but in the States.
Yes.
And I remember in the Kentucky basketball office, I said, well, Big Z, what are we doing today? He goes, the first thing I'm doing is eating a steak. And he literally had a steak on a paper plate.
He didn't know if he was in Kentucky or North Dakota at that point.
Riley's push shot doesn't go. Tomislav got cleared in late October. Remember, Zvonimir last year in Kentucky didn't get cleared until really late this season.
Mark Sears, he wraps the screen as well as any guard in college basketball, with and without the ball.
So Sherrell's got 4 points here. Here's Yakuchonis. Great vision. Another point guard, and he throws in the jump shot. 15. Kasparis Yakuchonis. Sears 0 for 5. Uvicic with the rebound. Talking with Orlando Antigua, who recruited Big Z to come to Kentucky last year. Now back at Brad Underwood's staff. Tomislav had a chance to come play stateside last year, and he said, well, he saw everything that his brother went through, how hard it was to get ready, and said, you know what, let me just stick around one more year and get ready to play.
No doubt. There's that NASCAR wrap move by Sears. Turning to his right shoulder, going full speed right into an easy job with Illinois football. Look at those first 2 teams out, Tennessee, and my buddy Rhett Lashley at SMU has done a fantastic job their first year in the ACC. And right now, it's all about just win the game on your schedule next, no matter where you are in that bracket. I shook Greg McElroy's hand before the game. He must lift weights twice a day. That guy is still, right, put together.
He lifts something twice a day. I don't know if it's necessarily iron. 13-point Bama lead, 22 points from the bench for the Crimson Tide. Shovel pass gets away from Illinois. Loose ball collected. It ends up in a wide open 3, and that's good for Aiden Holloway, who's got 15.
Talked about winning the foot race in the game against Alabama. They are deadly at sprinting to those deep corners in transition. Mark Sears fought his tail off in the mismatch against Avicic to get this conversion offense going, but that sprint right there by Holloway, and the other corner was filled as well.
Technically, it's 14 for Holloway. They took a point off from what they thought was an earlier 3 in the first half. 16-point advantage for the Crimson Tide. Boswell with the kick. He slides his way in, and Will Riley's got his first bucket of the second half. 5-star recruit, number 9th overall, and number 1 coming out of Canada.
One of those plays I talked about in the first half. Coach, I almost boxed off. Well, yeah. Well, we were almost in the NCAA.
Yeah.
And we're in the NIT because of it.
And the freshman comes away with the steal, Will Riley. Riley's 6'8", 195. He's working hard to try and put on some more weight. But that is some length at the point guard position, if that's where he sticks.
How about the feel that time by Avicic to know the double team was going to come? He knew before he caught the ball where he was going at it to that opposite cutter.
The Phylon was stuck. He got unstuck. He's got a dozen now.
He is so confident and courageous around the rim in traffic for a young kid.
Back rim for White. Here's Sears. Last time Mark Sears was scoreless, he was playing for the Ohio Bobcats. In fact, it's the only other career game he was scoreless. And as Sherrell throws in his first 3. November of 2020, Mark Sears was held scoreless in a game against Illinois. And so while everything else has been working for Bama, Sears scoring has not been one of them. Boswell draws the foul.
But Tom, think about what you just said. Alabama is tracking, I don't know, they're going to get mid-90s, close to 100 if this thing keeps going, and Mark Sears has not scored. So that tells you the depth and the firepower and how fast Alabama plays, the number of possessions they put on you for a guy who's going to be in the National Player of the Year conversation to be scoreless and still hang 71 so far on Illinois with almost 13 to go.
He's the first Alabama player to be named SEC preseason player of the year since Erwin Dudley in 2003. Free throw line for Kylan Boswell. Lived in Urbana-Champaign through 8th grade. And bounced around a couple of spots. It was a couple of years ago on the Pac-12 all-freshman team. And last year top 10 in the Pac-12 and both assists a game and steals per game. Just 67% from the free throw line. And he goes 1 out of 2. So Sears on the bench for the time being. And Phylon finally gives it up. Shot clock at 15. Here's LeBaron Phylon. Shot clock at 5. At 3. Mohamed Diabate off the mark, and it's rebounded by Will Riley. Illinois down 16. A 13-0 Alabama run in the first half helped the Tide pull away. The Illini will stop the clock with another trip to the free throw line coming.
I like the offense, though, at least the purpose behind that Dre Gibbs Lawhorn drive, because you're down to 71 to 55. You are putting fouls on Alabama, and that's now the 16th foul. And this kid is just a rugged, tough, competitive guy that can go by you. And Brad Underwood talked to us last night, so I probably should have developed him quicker last year as a freshman as we advanced in that NCAA tournament. I needed another go-by-you guard, and 2 in orange has that ability and can close the gap down in this game now over the next 4 or 5 minutes with that drive ability.
Sears back on the floor. Drake Gibbs Lawhorn has been at a bunch of different stops. Overtime Elite prior to that, Word of God, and then Mount Verde Academy. We played alongside Sky Clark, who was at Illinois before going to Louisville and now at UCLA.
When you say Word of God Christian Academy in North Carolina, I think John Wall.
That's the first guy.
No doubt.
Because of the dance, right?
Yeah.
Sears coughs it up. And the strip, but recovers for 3 from the bench. Another rebound by the freshman, Will Riley. Talking with Brad Underwood about Riley, he said this guy is married to the game. He lives in the gym, and you can see it pay off here in the second half. Illinois scratching and clawing to get back in this thing. Foul rejected at the rim. Here's Riley. Open 3, Boswell. We got a ball game. It is a 9-point deficit. Illinois on an 8-0 run. And Bama forced to use a timeout.
It's a program that's won too much over the years and high expectations. You just give in. And Riley fights to keep the ball alive, and Boswell just dials it up. And just like that, it's a single-digit ball game in Birmingham.
Time for tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate.
Tom, Illinois is back in this game because of a massive win of the collision at the rim. Morez Johnson just eats up the ball. Very talented former Illinois Gatorade Player of the Year, and that leads to this 3 right back in this thing. A pretty good gathering of Illini fans here as well. And all of a sudden, there's game pressure right back on Alabama with that 8-0 run.
First time the deficit has been whittled to single digits since it was 27-19, 9 minutes into the game. This is an Illinois team that will see plenty of SEC opponents that played Ole Miss in an exhibition game. They still have games against Missouri and St. Louis, and a sellout already as Tennessee comes to town in a few weeks.
If you're Illinois, Omori is still on the bench in foul trouble for Alabama. Nelson's playing the 5. Drive the ball, get on the glass, hammer the thing inside, take open 3s if they're there, but get some body blow baskets right now if you're Illinois to continue to cut into this lead.
Darian Reed out to Nelson. Short arm that one, and it's rebounded by the freshman Riley.
Let's see where they want to go with the ball after this timeout. I would be shocked if it's a quick 3, and they've been driving the ball with success.
Fun matchup with the freshman Reed and Riley locked in the corner. A bump and no whistle. Nelson the rebound.
Got exactly what they wanted, though.
Bounce pass gets through to Reed. Blows the bunny, and Illini has numbers the other way. Riley turn around. Darian Reed the rebound. 4 on 3. Baseline floater good. Latrell Wrightsell Jr.
Good job by Wrightsell Jr. to make a play out of the corner as opposed to settling for a guarded 3 in the corner.
Wide open. Good rotation.
I don't know, Alabama just got totally confused on their, they call it veering off and switching, and they just got completely tardy.
Second 3 of the night for Humberkaus. Bama clinging to an 8-point lead. Holloway in the paint. And the foul occurs on the floor.
On that last offensive play, though, by Illinois, Alabama, they don't communicate. And when they did, it was too late, because that should have been a quick switch to a guy that can shoot it. Ball fake, rise, release, result. Still got a game in Birmingham.
Illini fans watch with one eye. You're not going to like this, but they're used to playing close games in this building. Take you back to a 4-13 matchup, 1987. Doug Altenberger's pass was great. Ken Norman couldn't finish. And Austin Peay behind 24 from Darrell. And the foul occurs on the floor.
On that last offensive play, though, by Illinois, Alabama, they don't communicate. And when they did, it was too late, because that should have been a quick switch to a guy that can shoot it. Ball fake, rise, release, result. Still got a game in Birmingham.
Illini fans watch with one eye. You're not going to like this, but they're used to playing close games in this building. Take you back to a 4-13 matchup, 1987. Doug Altenberger's pass was great. Ken Norman couldn't finish. And Austin Peay behind 24 from Darrell Bedford with a huge upset. This was such a big upset that Dickie V said before the game, if Austin Peay beats Illinois, I'll stand on my head. They did. He did. Austin Peay would go on to lose an overtime game to Rick Pitino and Billy Donovan of Providence in the next round. One of the reasons, though, they were fired up as underdogs the night before, 1987. Guess what movie Austin Peay went to watch as a team? Hoosiers. You nailed it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you know what? Darrell Bedford, who hit the shot, one of my former teammates at Arkansas. And then he transferred to Austin Peay. And Tom, speaking of Austin Peay, this guy threw this in there. They have a kid this year named Hansel Emmanuel. I watched him play Sunday at Tennessee. He plays with one arm. He lost his left arm, a childhood accident. What an inspirational story to watch that guy could be. He starts, but man, he can play the game. He's a tough, competitive guy. Just a shout out to Austin Peay's Hansel Emmanuel.
Yeah, he's fun to watch too, isn't he?
No doubt.
In the meantime, let's see.
Well, we got the clocks out on one bucket. The bucket to our left has no game clock, no shot clock, and so they'll try to get that restarted. If they don't get it working on one end, they'll have to turn it off on the other end as well, at least from a shot clock perspective. Well, let's take a spin around the world of college basketball. Some of you still dialed into football, so let's educate you a little bit on what has happened. How about Gino? Knocked off Fairleigh Dickinson tonight for his 1,217th win, passing Tar Vanderveer. Kansas is #1 in the AP poll. They get Duke Tuesday. Marquette with a big win against Purdue last night. Cam Jones was magnificent. He messed around, got a triple-double. And oh yeah, Dalton Connect tied an NBA rookie record with 9 threes last night.
He at one point rattled off 22 straight points. And if you look up if you Google what a performance he had last night, and it's not the first one that he's had in that Lakers uniform.
Got the clocks working now again. By the way, Cam Jones at triple-double last night was the first for Marquette since Dwayne Wade did it against Kentucky in the NCAA tournament in 2003. And Gary Parrish in his podcast today mentioned that Cam Jones, who's from Memphis, had dedicated that game to his high school coach, Terry Tippett, who passed away at 79 over the weekend. Who was Memphis coaching legend, had been at a few different stops in the Memphis area. That's quite a tribute. You pull in the second triple-double at Marquette since D. Wade.
Yeah. Man,
8-point Bama lead.
Did Marquette play hard? Stevie Mitchell was just a one-man press at all times. Defensive, what pass? Yes, sir. What a look by Grant Nelson out of that corner. Alabama, they keep those corners filled and really stretch the defense and put pressure on you to cover the entire half court. And there's a paint touch and a find right back to the paint. That's Alabama's basketball at its best. It's all triggered by their ability, Tom, to get the ball inside that lane area and then make plays off the defense when they're scrambled.
Darian Reed, freshman from Grovetown, Georgia, by way of prolific prep. 3-point play for him. By the way, I should mention before we went to the previous break, Perez Johnson went to the bench after committing his 4th personal foul. Lead back to double digits. Yakachonis, no. Reed with the rebound. They feel like they can unlock Darian Reed. They'll have quite a score on their hands. Nice floater for Holloway.
3 or 4 times in this game, those Alabama guards have finished high on that right side, high corner.
1-foot fadeaway, no. Holloway finds Fallon. Shot out of a cannon, and the follow jam doesn't go. Well, you mentioned this a couple of times. This Alabama team just playing full throttle. Boswell directing traffic. Wants Ivisic involved. Shot clock at 5. Corner kick. Shot clock at 2. A hang and no hit. Ends up in Alabama's hand.
Well, really good half-court defense by Alabama. All the way to the collision at the rim. The play verticality legally. Watch out.
Nelson ball fake. Ivisic is 7-1 with the rejection.
You're Alabama. You got to come now. I mean, you don't want fast, quick shots, but you got to get that ball and kind of match the speed for Alabama when you're down 13 with 8 to go.
Oh, he thought Ivisic was going to get there quicker. And now Yakachonis is claiming that Alabama tipped it. Brad Underwood thinks his crew missed the call. It's a blind look for Yakachonis.
I mean, Grant Nelson's hand was involved with that ball, no doubt. How fast Alabama plays, and only 5 turnovers so far in this game. That is exceptional.
Whoa! Whoa. Put him on spin cycle. Darian Reeds gets 7.
That is a true freshman, folks. McDonald's All-American, a lot of experience with that USA under-18 team. Knows how to score.
Nelson got caught with his hands in the cookie time in his college career. And Yakachonis, many times, Jimmy, has seemed like the only offensive option for Illinois.
Yeah, he's been really good. Talking about 32 in orange. And again, he's played against grown men, Yakachonis, so he's not going to be rattled here against Alabama with right at 7.5 to go. But Illinois has got to be hyper aggressive now, Tom. They've got to get to the free throw line some this last 7 minutes. Score that clock stop. Watch out.
Nelson had one blocked by Ivisic a moment ago. Gives it up. Beautiful reverse by Reitzel.
They are so fast, tracking down loose balls and hard scoring cuts from the opposite side of the floor to perfection.
Bama's reopened that lead thanks to a 9-0 run. Yakachonis rejected by Nelson. That was a side block. Reitzel coughs it up. Jasper Yakachonis, a 6'6" point guard. This is a lengthy Illinois team, especially in the backcourt with the 6'8" Riley sharing it with Yakachonis. Ivisic has a mismatch. Gave it up. Boswell drew the foul. Number 3 on Grant Nelson. And Kylan Boswell going back to the free throw line.
A really good cut by Kylan Boswell. Now Ivisic has a mismatch, but he's patient. Instead of just trying to force something, he waits for that cutter on the ball side to cut right to his left side. And another strong, physical, body blow play by Illinois that I keep calling for them to have with 6.5 minutes to go in this game.
Another missed free throw for Boswell. He's missed 2 in the last half minute. Two-man game. Nelson was cut off. Finally.
And again, that cut, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a purposeful scoring, violent cut by LeBaron Philon.
There's Riley for 3. Double figures for Will Riley. And it's a 14-point game.
Watch this violent cut by Philon. I mean, from the opposite side of the floor, right here, boom, come. Right there, right through the elbow with the rip drive without the ball, and then the strong finish through contact. And Will Riley shoots a smooth ball, man, every time. And he can back up another 3 or 4 feet, and it's going to look the same. A big-time shot to keep Illinois in this game with 6 to go.
When you think about what Illinois has accomplished to this point, 3-0 with those bye games, as you mentioned, and now a real challenge with Bama, and it doesn't get much easier given some of the opponents are on their schedule in the very near future. You get a couple more easies, and they get Arkansas Thanksgiving Friday in Kansas City. Big Ten play starts with a trip to Northwestern. They get a top 20 showdown with Wisconsin just 4 days after that. And by the way, they're already in the midst of 4 games over 9 days right now.
Well, within this game and within that upcoming stretch, and especially Alabama's upcoming schedule, your competitive endurance is going to be put to the test. And if you don't have a competitive endurance team, you're a long winter.
Skips all the way to Nelson. Puts up an air ball from the corner. I think somebody opened the door.
In the wrong corner.
Jonas and Ivisic working. Whoa. Physical, quick move by Ivisic, and it's a baby hook home.
That's big time by Ivisic. He spun one way and came back the other with quickness.
This Eastern Illinois had 14 and 14, first double-double in the debut since Dane Danger in 22. Nelson right back out.
That's it. He's made some threes in this game, but at his core, you saw what he wants to do. Shot fake, one bounce, and go right at the 10.
Here's Ivisic now. Over with Riley. Interesting hearing Brad Underwood talk about the development of their offense. Basically, not at all a ball screen team last year. Corner, Riley, got another, and the freshman's heating up.
Yeah, freshman to freshman. The ball went from one corner to the other with that hammer pass.
Pylon weaves his way through orange jerseys. Stolen away. Ben Humberhouse looking for a touch in the corner. Here it is. Back out to Riley. Drew the whistle. And he'll go to the line for three.
Yeah, that's the right call. I mean, Reed just flies at the ball.
Yeah, Reed went flying so hard he came right out of his shoe.
Yeah. What a massive sequence right here. That ball gets reversed and never jump at a shooter. Jump to his side, and there's enough contact there absolutely to make the call. And he gets into that shot arm right there. And Will Riley's too good of a shooter to miss the rim by 2 or 3 feet.
Riley, freshman from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. You mentioned reclassified from the 25 group to class of 24. And he was the inaugural Big Ten Rookie of the Week this year. First couple of games went for 23 and 7 and 8 of 11 from 3.
Tom, it's interesting. This game is far from over. And Mark Sears, sitting down on that bench, has not scored in this game, doesn't have foul trouble. Nate Oates, though, sees something that he likes right now and leaving Mark Sears on the bench.
Indeed. Scoreless so far. One more note on Riley, talking with Brad Underwood. Practice last night. What name did he bring up from his Kansas State pass? He said he reminds me of Mike Beasley. Michael Beasley was an absolute monster playing. First recruited by Bob Huggins and then Frank Martin.
And loved the game. Like loved the hard part, the work involved with the game like this kid does.
On a rejection by Johnson playing with 4 fouls. Illini the other way. A touch on the rim, whereas Johnson says I never touched it.
I don't know if he did either. I mean, the hand was right there. I thought he pulled it away. The Illini bench thought the same thing. Well, those are such difficult calls to make with athletes flying with that much speed above the rim. They'll take a look at it.
So it was called basket interference. You think he got it?
Yep, he did. Right there.
Missed opportunity. The orange. Well, they reviewed that last bucket. Dean waved it off for basket interference. But other than that, Jimmy, Illinois finding some rhythm.
Well, they started making plays through the chest of Alabama defensively.
Have coming up that puts a premium on getting a good performance here tonight, coming off of their lone loss of the season on the road in front of a packed house at Purdue. They get Houston, then Rutgers. These are in Vegas. They go to Carolina on December 4th for the challenge. And then Creighton comes to Tuscaloosa on December 14th. Nate Oates has said repeatedly, we use our non-conference schedule to challenge our team. And it's regularly top 5, if not the toughest non-conference schedule. Usage with the rebound. We saw it pay off with Alabama making it to the Final Four last year in Phoenix. Here's Riley baseline. And Latrell Wrightsell charged with his 4th.
Tom, that type of schedule, it can set you up to be a #1 seed in March. It could also cost you of being a #1 seed in March if it doesn't go your way. Man, that's a ridiculously hard schedule that Nate Oates has put together. But when he came back, or didn't leave Alabama, and Mark Sears came back, it was a constant consistent message from Alabama. We want to win the national title, not just get to the Final Four this year. They've got the pieces to do it, but their first issue is to close out this game.
Illinois' free throw shooting, especially in the second half, has left something to be desired. They're just 12 of 23 from the line in the night. And the freshman knocks down his second.
Man, make your free throws, make your layups. It's amazing. You go back and break down games. The impact that those two things have.
Holloway gives it up, gets it back. Shot clock will get to single digits. Mark Sears still on the bench for Bama. And Jonas commits the foul. It's a third on Jonas. And the 16th foul on Illinois.
Tommy, it may be as simple tonight as Nate Oates saying, Mark, is not your night. And I like the guard play I've got going on right now. I don't see any indication of Nate putting the All-SEC preseason player of the year back in this game.
You would think just experience alone, getting on the floor in a tight game would be enough to get him out there in the final 3 minutes. Stays with Bama, 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Alabama team that won 25 games last year. They had lost 4 of 6 going into the NCAA tournament, and they rolled all the way to the Final Four. Here's Latrell Wrightson. Block, and they get Riley for the foul. Second on Riley, but more importantly, 3 free throws coming for Latrell Wrightson Jr.
And I think there was 5, 6 seconds on the shot clock. Will Riley, a true freshman, he gets picked off, and then he continues to try to reach for the ball and force the contact. I mean, force the officials to make the call. It gets on that left hand of Wrightson.
Wrightson's dad played at Creighton back in the late 80s, went to a couple of NCAA tournaments with the Blue Jays. He'll see his dad's team in Tuscaloosa in a couple of weeks. One more coming.
I've told you before, I'm never a proponent of cursing, but I think it's okay to let one slip when you foul a three-point shooter if you're a coach. Like, that's probably the only time in life I think it might be forgiven.
Yeah. I agree, and I'm a fan of cursing. Stolen away. Step through. I'm a fan of him. 16 for the freshman. Comes back to a dozen.
How good is he?
He's the real deal.
Yes.
Usage off the mark. Nelson got bumped. Here comes Bama.
Got 2 guards on the floor for Alabama right now. They could very well be playing for Auburn. Holloway right there playing for last year. And Philon was an Auburn commit at one point. And those 2 guys, Mark Sears on the bench said, Coach, we got you. They have made back-to-back plays and probably just sealed this thing for Alabama. Philon, first of all, reading the ball, shooting the gap, and that step right there is big time, man. Wrong foot, wrong hand, and still gets it to drop. And then Aiden Holloway with a little bit of a dribble hold to get the defender behind him. Holloway has grown up in this game. He struggled last year at times when the three-point shot wasn't falling for him, but his game has grown some from last year to this year.
Well, Holloway intimated that Auburn wasn't everything it was cracked up to be, and certainly his struggles play into some of that. So it's a bit of a reset button for him to come join this Final Four team. He made 26 starts for the Tigers last year, and meanwhile, Philon, 16 points, 8 assists, and 6 boards. Man,
that is a complete game, and Alabama, they're going to get close to 100 in this game without Mark Sears scoring a basket. That's good news, bad news for Alabama basketball right now. You don't want Mark Sears getting in a funk. But you also like the fact that if he hits droughts, There's other dudes.
Yakachonis with the kick. And Hammerkaus throws in his second three. Pardon me, his third.
Nice play call by Brad out of that timeout to have some life still.
Bama pushing the century mark and scored 75 points a game over the previous two. And 52 at the half tonight. Reitzel cut off. 10 o'clock at 6. Here's Holloway for three. See if Illinois got one last push in the final 90 seconds. Yakachonis. Nope. Into Philon's hands. No look. Wow. Oh my, he's going to the line for a three-point chance. What a pass.
And what a sprint by Omori. Look at that, showing the target hand all the way down the floor. He got that target hand up, Tom, at half court, saying, this is where I want the ball. And we talk a lot about passes being delivered at the right moment. And right there in front of the rim, an easy one for number 11 in white.
Making his 105th collegiate start tonight. And bothered by foul trouble. But a big bucket late. Hammerkaus lets it fly. Off the mark again. Boswell cleans it up. He's got 17 to pace Illinois. 11-point deficit. A reach in and no whistle.
And the confidence that Holloway and Philon have played with in the second half. It has increased every 4-minute segment, it feels like to me.
Holloway 18 points on 7 of 10 shooting, including 3 of 4 from 3. Another flush. Couple of highlight reel jams for Clifford Amore, the transfer from Rutgers. Nice dump off for Ivisic. 34 seconds left, and Alabama going to the free throw line. Well, the missing digit is a point in Mark Sears' column, who is 0 for 5. But Holloway, Philon, and Reitzel Moore have been filling it up and being efficient in their games.
LeBaron Philon is a menace on both ends of the floor. Just constant harassment. And this Alabama team they're so disruptive, Tom. There's a lot of like mother-in-law defense, just like constant pressure, constant harassment, just after you all the time. They speed you up. They play to their pace as well as anyone we have in the college game on both ends.
Thought you were going to say nagging defense. I love my mother-in-law very much too. Yeah. Finally off balance, throws it in off the window.
Now, Illinois got knocked around in this game, but they're a legitimate top 25 team, and all they're going to do is grow from this. It was a step up in weight class for them tonight after 3 bye games to come down here and take on Alabama. What will be said as a neutral floor, but heavy Alabama territory. They got a lot of great pieces, coached by a guy that is tremendous at the game, and he has his eyes set on winning a national championship at Illinois before he's finished. Has completely changed the offense this year to fit his personnel. And they will be a tough out all year long in that Big Ten.
They get started early with that 20-game league schedule. Reitzel's got another one coming. .23 seconds left. Bama point away, or pardon me, at the century mark. Here's Boswell. It's a Bama team that lived in triple digits last year. School record 9 100-point games last season, on their way to the Final Four. And an early push gave Alabama the advantage when they went on a 13-0 run midway through the first half. Mark Sears held scoreless for just the second time in his career. Both have been by Illinois, but